Next time on Casino Royale with cheese.
I'm into all the stuff.
Kind of a jack of all trades, yeah.
Master of none, though.
Right. I mean, you're not into Star Trek, so there's that.
It's true.
Right.
You got me there. Darn it.
That's a valid observation.
We meet Pat Healy.
Yeah, Pat Healy.
You know, I don't do any research for these reviews, but I did look up what Pat Healy means in Spanish, and it means douchebag.
Does it really?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's to say, like, that is a crazy reference. Like, go Farrelly Brothers. That is awesome.
And now, the conclusion.
Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent breed is people!
Yo, Adrian! I did it!
Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at them regular casinos.
Royale, too.
Matt Damon!
Welcome back to Casino Royale with Cheese. This is episode number 34 of the show where we discuss movies that were number one at the box office exactly 20 years ago. My name is Shane. Today I'm joined by the man who never has to worry about going around the house and collecting all his money. This is Mike.
Yeah, there's none to be found.
Right. Go around the house looking for some, maybe.
There's one spot in my house I know there's money, and it's my kid's piggy bank.
Oh, there you go.
And I would just feel terrible.
Like 83 cents.
Oh, no, she's got fat money in there.
She's a baller.
She puts everything in there.
Like she just forgets about it and never spends it.
Yeah, no, she knows it's there, but she's not going to spend it. Why would she do that? I'll buy her what she wants.
Oh, yeah, okay. By the time she's like 18, she'll be able to like pocket college herself. You know?
That is the plan. We do plan on like adding to her college fund with it because I'm positive she's got a couple $100 in there.
Yeah, of course. How's it going today there, Padre?
Fucking exhausted.
From last night or
Yeah.
from getting our sound working?
Both.
Right.
So last night our brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they had their housewarming.
You all met Jared?
Yeah, Jared from our Good Morning Vietnam episode.
Yep.
He and his wife had bought their forever home.
Yep. They bought their casket.
So we, our wives decided that they needed a housewarming party.
Right.
And a party it was.
It was. Yeah.
I forgot how old I am, and I don't bounce back quite as well as I used to.
No, that's why I stopped bouncing at all, really. Like, on occasion, I might have a little bit of fun, but it's not very often, dude. Like, back in the day, I used to tie one off, and then, like, I'd wake up the next day, might be a little bit tired, a little under it, but, like, anymore, my hangovers last, like, 3 days, you know? I don't even fuck with it, man.
Yeah, and then you compound that with this audio issue we're having today.
Right.
And it was just like, oh, God, my fucking head's killing me.
Right. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about motherfucking Rounders.
Rounders. I never heard of this movie until this show.
Rounder Virgin.
Yeah. Have you seen this before?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it a couple times.
So you're not going in completely dark on this?
No, but, you know, I saw it a couple times, but I think it's been at least 15 years since I've seen it. Because
so it's almost...
When I was rewatching it this week, I was like, dude, I don't remember how any of this goes.
Yeah. Well, that's how I was, pretty much.
Yeah.
Did you go to the theater and watch this shit? Or
No.
Never fucked with it.
I watched a lot of Reynolds back in the day.
Yeah. Well, you're a Marine, and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
No, so this movie has... I looked at the cast, bro, and I was not excited.
Really?
Not at all.
Well, I know you're not a Matt Damon fan.
I don't like... I don't hate Matt Damon. I think I just have, like, no emotion toward Matt Damon at all. Like, he was a big deal back when this fucking thing came out, you know?
Yeah.
And I watched like a couple of his movies. Like whenever I watched Saving Private Ryan, and I remember thinking like when I saw it in the theater, I was like, oh, Matt Damon. You know, like I knew who he was, but you know, I watched a couple of his movies back then, and the movies I didn't think were that great, and his acting really didn't do much for me, and so I was just, I don't get the hype. I knew he was like best buddies with Ben Affleck, and I never thought much of that dude either, you know? So,
Well, their big breakout was Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, yeah.
Which they, I guess, wrote and starred in.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if they directed, but I'm pretty sure they wrote it like together. That kind of goes into my big gripe with Matt Damon from back in the day was, okay, anything that he was in, he was always like the best at whatever it was.
A savant.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
In this, he's the best fucking poker player. In that, he was the best fucking math guy, even though he made a career out of mopping floors and shit, you know. And of course, we have to integrate the fact, you know, like Boston into everything, you know. And I was just like, get over it, dude. You're driving me nuts with this shit. On the other hand, Edward Norton, who I loved in American History X and Fight Club, has done nothing for me in pretty much every other role. Well, I liked him in Primal Fear. I'm going to take that back because I thought he was great in that movie with him and Richard Gere, where he plays the kid that was like molested by the priest or whatever, and he winds up killing him.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Really, it's a good movie. You should check it out. So Primal Fear is good, but like all these other roles, like recently I went back and watched Red Dragon. I think we talked about it, the Hannibal Lecter thing. And I watched it and I was like, he's sitting there toward the end of the movie and he's like delivering this dialogue to his on-screen wife, and he was like, you know, I was reading through these files and it was just so sad. And I'm like, I'm sure the director was like, okay, can we try that scene again, only this time you act, you know? Because it was just lame, dude. So lame. And I watched him. There was this movie he was in back in the day. I think it was called Keeping the Faith, where he was like a priest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Ben Stiller was like a rabbi. And the acting was horrible, you know?
And they were both like going for
going
a girl.
after Jenna Elfman, which we talked about was a Scientologist. Oh, but no, it was really bad. And what's funny about it is apparently like he's a fucking dickhead to work with. Because he basically comes onto a movie like he's not in movies anymore, really, you know. I haven't seen a fucking new movie with him in forever, you know. And the whole idea is apparently like he goes into a movie production, and he fucking like hijacks that shit and like, I want to rewrite the script. And they're like, what the fuck, you know?
Really?
Yeah, and so he puts all this effort into all these different projects of his, and then I guess forgets about acting. He like gets lost in the sauce acting wise, you know. I thought you were gonna act in this movie. He's like, oh, I was busy writing. I didn't ever think about it, you know.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking up, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of stuff he was in.
The last movie I saw of his in the theater was The Incredible Hulk, and once again, his acting was about as stiff as my erection was when I was in high school, you know.
I guess he was in Collateral Beauty, which I don't know what that is.
Nobody give a fuck about that.
It's a Will Smith movie.
Oh yeah, is that the thing where he like talks to like his emotions like manifest themselves or whatever?
I don't know. I never saw it.
I don't give a shit.
He's one of the voices in Sausage Party.
I watched like 2/3 of that movie. I was like, all right, I get it. I'm done. You know, like I didn't care for that at all. And apparently they like really underpaid their animators to do that movie.
He was in Birdman.
Oh, was he?
I guess.
Oh. All I remember is Michael Keaton, and that movie was really weird. Hey, let me ask you this. While we're talking about Sausage Party.
Okay.
Have you seen the previews for that thing with Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah, the murder mystery thing.
Where they're killing puppets.
Yeah, they're not Muppets, they're puppets.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that looks pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, a buddy of mine at work watched it, and he said it's really funny.
Yeah. I would be something, the Happy Time Murders or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely one of those films that, like, if we're going to go watch it in the movie theater, it'd be you and me.
Right. I don't think
Nicole has no desire.
No. Even, so you think about it too, even with, like, the Bourne Identity, they're like, oh, he's just the best fucking assassin.
Yeah, he's amazing at everything he does.
Right. You know? There's never a movie where he's playing, like, a Joe Dirt. fucking character or something like that.
I'm trying to think. There was a movie where he played some type of
just an idiot.
Yeah. But it was like obviously to poke at himself, like.
Right. I'm so great that I have to make fun of how great everybody realizes I am. This fucking thing. What a bunch of bullshit. Get over yourself, Matt Damon.
I'll tell you the movie I liked with Matt Damon a lot. I can't even remember the name of it, but it had Jude Law in him, and he was like obsessed with being Jude Law. And like taking his identity from him and stuff like that. I don't know. Why don't you just ramble for a second while I look that up?
Well, speaking of people being obsessed with being other people, John Malkovich is in this movie.
I love John Malkovich.
Yeah, I liked him in Being John Malkovich quite a bit. He eats Oreos really grossly in this movie, I noticed. Like, he'll sit there and just fucking chomp away at these things, and like he'll talk while his mouth's full of fucking Oreo goo. And, like, you can see the saliva mixed with cookie and shit while he's talking. It grossed me the fuck out, man. I'm not going to lie about that.
So, Matt Damon's in Deadpool 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as Redneck number 2.
Redneck number 2. Interesting. I haven't seen Deadpool Part 2. I think they should have called it Deadpool number 2. Because there's, like, a little poop joke in there, They could have done so many things with the title of Deadpool 2. Because originally... I read where they're online on IMDb, the Deadpool sequel was listed as Untitled Deadpool Sequel, and I thought that would have been the perfect title for Deadpool 2. It was just Untitled Deadpool Sequel.
Right.
But they didn't really do anything. It's just Deadpool 2.
Dude, he's in so many fucking movies, man.
He's in a lot of shit. I watched the movie The Good Shepherd with him and Robert De Niro, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be great, because that cast was awesome, and it was supposed to take place like they're in the CIA in the 1960s, and all this shit. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be good. It was so fucking boring, dude. It was a realistic spy movie in that, like, if you're working for the CIA, a lot of your time's probably going to be like spent shuffling papers and signing shit, and filing reports. And so it was like, well, they I guess kind of encapsulated that, because man, this fucking movie had nothing going on,
The movie I was talking about with him and Jude Law is The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, yeah. That actually came out not too long after this.
Right.
Yeah. I never saw that. John Malkovich also played Ripley. And another, I think that what had happened is the person that wrote the Ripley books sold each one of the books to a different studio. And so after The Talented Mr. Ripley came out, all these other movie studios that had the rights to the books, they started releasing their own movie. And they would pick a different actor, and so people are like, what the fuck is this?
I'm so confused.
They did not think that went through, and I'm sure that the author could have made way more money if they had just sold all those books to like one studio, But like, yeah, I never saw Talented Mr. Ripley. I have been to Ripley's Believe It or Not, so that's kind of cool.
Ripley.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything. I've seen Alien, and there's a Ripley in that.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. You haven't seen Alien. We talked about that.
You're not supposed to put me on blast like that.
All right? What a dickhead.
I saw
fucking suck.
I think I've seen the original Alien when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember it.
Dude, it's good. We're
remember Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. She runs around in her panties in that thing.
She stands out my memory.
She had a little shit stain in the back.
Okay.
No, not really. That's gross. Don't shit your pants, Sigourney Weaver. Let's see here. Who else we got?
Oh, yeah. We were going to talk about the cast.
Okay. So this movie has an awesome cast to it, by the way.
So we got Matt Damon, Edward Norton Jr.
Matt Damon.
Edward Norton Jr.
Edward Norton Jr.
Ed Norton Jr. He's a junior, isn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Ed Norton.
We got
John
Gretchen
Malkovich.
Mole plays Joe.
Yeah. I've seen her in something before. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. She had nothing to do really in this movie except be pissed at Matt Damon the whole fucking time.
Need someone to be the angry girlfriend, dude.
Right. We got John Malkovich, like you said, plays Teddy KGB. It's a great name. I love it. I was anxious to find out, because it's obviously a nickname. What's this dude's real name? I was wondering.
Ted.
And
he works for the KGB.
But that doesn't sound very Russian. So.
Theodore.
Retarded. Theotrovsky or some shit. Yeah. We got John Turturro.
I like him.
Joey Knish.
Yeah.
I like John Turturro, but I like him all the way up to and including Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, yeah.
because it seems like anything that he was in after Oh Brother Where Art Thou, he just plays Pete again. But in this, like, this is a pretty different role for him, you know. I like him in like The Big Lebowski, where he plays like the bowler that's the molester dude, you know. Like, that was pretty fucking funny. Let's see. We also had an appearance by Famke Janssen playing Petra in this.
Oh yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's great and she is beautiful. Yeah,
stunner.
And we'll talk about it, but that scene where she was like trying to get down with Matt Damon, and he's like, "Nah, you need to get out of here." What the fuck's the matter with you? Are you insane? I think those are most of your big players.
And who's the old judge?
Oh, I looked it up.
He plays Abe in this movie.
Yeah, he's in a ton of shit. We saw him. What else did we watch that had him in it this year? He was in the X-Files movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah. What's the name of this? Rounders?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Abe. He's the dean at Matt Damon's college.
And I think he's his professor.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because he's pretty close to him.
They are like buddies. What's that dude's name? I'm so fucking retarded. I'm sorry, everybody. You're like screaming it right now. Who am I kidding? You're not listening. Martin Landau.
Martin Landau.
He was on Space 1999 back in the day. Really crappy sci-fi show that sucked ass. This was directed by John Dahl. Apparently, he directed a movie called Kill Me Again with Val Kilmer. Kilmer Me Again, I guess.
I see what you did there.
Hey! The Last Seduction? I don't know. That came out in 1994, which was probably Val Kilmer's last seduction. It was in 1994. Because he looks like a frog.
He's lost some weight again.
Has he? I heard he had throat cancer, and that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Because I like that dude, actually. I talk a lot of shit, but I like Val Kilmer. I guess he's directed some of the Iron Fist episodes. Jessica Jones. He had a hand in the Hannibal TV show.
Okay.
He directed some of the House of Cards shit with old rapist Kevin Spacey.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Rapey. And The Strain. So it sounds like he's done a lot of TV shit. Apparently he's really pushing for a Rounders 2 to come out. But, I mean, it's been 20 years, so fucking what the fuck?
Is Matt Damon going to be the Knish character?
I don't know. That would be pretty great, actually. I like him to be the Teddy KGB character.
Well, it seems like that's what the new thing is not... So we're not going to just reboot a movie because the reboots we've done. So now we're going to make sequels.
Pass the baton kind of thing.
And in the sequel, they officially announced they're making a Top Gun 2.
Right.
And it's going to be called Maverick.
So now Maverick is the fucking...
instructor.
He's the, what's the dude's name? I don't even know. But he's the one running the shit.
Yeah, the fighter pilot, it's going to be like a rebel and he needs to train. It's going to be a woman.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a woman.
Tom Cruise is going to have that moment where he's like, I was just like you,
Right. And then
fucking it got me nowhere. My co-pilot died.
And then they're going to fuck.
Right. So it'll be like the real military where the trainer impregnates a pupil and then...
Whoa, we didn't say anything about impregnating.
No, there was this, when I was in the Army, there was an NCO that he was an instructor at AIT, and he wound up knocking up one of his soldiers, and so we were like...
Career over.
Well, he got out of it, insanely, because she got out on a medical discharge. She kept it under wraps who the baby was, and the guy was actually married at the time, but after she got out of the military on their medical discharge or whatever... he got divorced from his wife, and then they got married real quick. But since she wasn't in the military, I guess it all just kind of got swept under the rug.
No harm, no foul.
I would say that that's a really roundabout way of procreation, but let's see. This was written by some fucking asshole.
I'm sure he doesn't deserve that.
David Levine and Brian Koppelman.
Oh, David Levine, yeah.
You don't know who that
No, I
fucking
don't.
Yeah. Oh, he's my favorite. He wrote Runaway Jury with John Cusack and Gene Hackman. So that's something.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was like Gene Hackman's last movie before he retired. And I guess the other Koppelman dude did the same. So
they're a writing
they
team.
wrote they stick together, looks like. This movie, how many weeks do you think it was number one at the box office? No,
2.
Well, okay, it was made on a budget, $12 million. Not bad.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
2.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
It was just one week.
Okay.
What do you think it made money wise at the box office in the U.S.?
54 million.
No, this thing was, I think, might have been a flop, dude. It made almost $23 million. So, unless it pulled some major money, like, there's this weird part of Europe that really likes Matt Damon playing poker. Like, this thing probably flopped, I'm guessing, which doesn't contribute to why they would make a Rounders 2 20 years later. Like, I'd never even heard of this movie, you know? So, let me ask you, so they kind of gloss over it. Do they ever say officially what a rounder even is?
Yeah.
Just a poker player? Or?
Yeah, it's a gambler.
Oh, okay. All right, because I wasn't sure. Because in the movie they talk about how, like, Joey Knish had been a rounder since he was 19. I was like, okay, whatever the fuck that is, you know?
You sit around a round table.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, we're sitting around a poker table and it's not round at all.
No, this one's not.
This is like octagonal.
Yeah, so we're octagoners.
Octagonal. So fucking stupid. I don't know. Do you want to talk about this thing?
I mean, that's what we're fucking here for.
Yeah.
So we spent the last hour and a half working on audio for
Right, trying to get it together. I'm going to go plug in my laptop while you get us started here,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Way to go.
So, we open up with a dude going around his house collecting money out of, like, books and behind a painting. And
He
just
has a poker tape that the fucking, like a VHS box that he's got money stashed in.
Yeah, he's
I
got
think
money.
it's funny.
He's got money stashed all over the place. And then Matt Damon starts to dialogue over the top of the movie, and that is a recurring theme throughout the entire thing. Like, he talks over the top of the movie a lot, which I think is helpful in this movie.
I think it is. They use a lot of poker lingo in this.
I think that's cool.
I think it is too, but I don't know shit about poker. I've never played poker at all. Yeah, I never have.
You want to play anytime?
I mean, if you're going to teach me, I'm not playing for fucking money, obviously.
I'm getting ready to get paid, son.
Right?
No, and I appreciate the over-the-top dialogue because he does explain a lot of things to us.
He breaks it down for an idiot such as myself.
He talks, I like at the very beginning, he says basically like, he quotes like famous gamblers a lot.
Yeah.
In the movie. And I don't remember who they were he was quoting, but one of them said, if you can't spot the sucker in the first 30 minutes at the table, you're the sucker.
You're the sucker. Yep.
I like that.
I like it.
And you want to like play, he talks about grinding. Like, that's a technique, like how to survive in gambling. Like, you grind through it instead of like just trying to get paid real huge.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll never let you
So
back to
you
the
got
game.
one big bet an hour.
Right.
And I think what he's talking about is for the hands that you're not going to win. Because no matter how good you are, you're not going to win every hand. But that's seeing that you're not going to win and fucking like giving up as much money as possible, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or the least amount as possible on those losing hands until you hit like a big one, you know?
Right. Yeah, you get one big one in an hour.
Right.
And then we get...
he's going to law school.
Yeah, he's going to law school, but in this scene, he's headed to Teddy KGB's place.
Right.
Apparently, you don't fuck with them.
Teddy KGB, get the impression he was with the KGB.
He's definitely hooked up with the Russian mafia.
Yeah. It's John Malkovich with a horrible accent. I don't think he sounds Russian at all.
No, I like it.
Whatever.
We meet Joey Knish. He's a friend.
Joey Knish.
He's kind of a mentor.
Yeah, a little bit. He's the Yoda of poker.
Yeah. Matt Damon in this film, his character's name is Mike.
Yeah.
So he is like mentoring Mike, kind of teaching him the ropes.
Right.
And Knish notices that Mike has 30 stacks high, or 3 stacks of high tide, or
He went in there with a big old fat wad of money.
like 30 grand.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
He has 30 grand. And Knish is like, what the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
You making a run?
You're gonna fucking lose everything.
Are you trying to go to Vegas?
Yeah.
We find out pretty quick that this is like everything that Mike has, everything he's worked for in gambling. Like, he's got this 30 grand.
Going all in on it. Yeah.
He plans on going to Las Vegas to play in the World Series of Poker.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits down with Teddy KGB.
Teddy KGB.
And we find out that they're going to be playing a game called No Limit Texas Hold'em.
No Limit Hold'em. That's what they played in Casino Royale, actually.
It's a fun game. It's the most fun poker
I've
game.
heard that, yeah. Because it's not about your hand necessarily. It's the other guy you're playing against.
Well, everybody pretty much has the same hand, minus the 2 cards in your hand.
Right.
So you don't know, you know what the potentials are,
Right.
but you don't know exactly what they're holding, and that's where it's like you're playing against the guy and not the cards.
Right.
And he gives us the rules.
Yeah, you get 2 cards, 5 in the middle, and then you have to try to make the best hand, obviously. The only thing I know about poker is there's a straight, there's a flush, there's a royal flush. I always thought a royal flush was like after you take fucking like the king of shits, and then you gotta fucking like use the plunger on that bastard, you know.
A royal flush is ace, king, queen, jack, 10, all the same suit.
Oh yeah, never happens.
It's very rare.
Yeah, like 3% of the time.
Unbeatable as far as cards of hands.
Yeah.
You got two a pair, 3 of a kind,
right,
4 of a kind, a full house.
Right.
A full house is like you have 3 of a kind and a pair.
Never have a 5 of a kind, I've noticed.
They don't.
There's only 4 suits. You dumbass.
Have you ever played with cards? Like fuck poker. Have you ever?
You've seen cards, right?
Go fish.
Right. Anything? Crazy Eights? Nothing? Yeah.
War?
Right. Just shuffled? Anything?
And Mike loses everything.
Yeah, he has a good hand, and he's trying to get Teddy to not fold. And so he's just kind of like trying to bait the hook and like act like he's really like stressed out and shit because he's got this killer hand. Teddy raised the bet to 15,000. Matt Damon's just like, oh man, I don't know if I can fucking. And of course he knows the whole time that he's gonna go for it, you know. And so sure enough, Teddy KGB has 2 aces, fucking over. Like he loses his entire savings.
Well, Mike thought Teddy was chasing a spade flush.
Right.
But he wasn't.
Nope. He was not. He misread him. And of course, you know, he's pissed. He talks to Joey Knish. And he's like, hey, man, you still got that truck? Because I'm going to need a fucking job. You know?
Right.
Like, yeah.
So we cut to 9 months later, and he's a delivery guy.
Right. Yep. He works overnight. He makes a delivery to the City Law University, which sounds like a fucking made-up bullshit university.
Well, that's where he goes to school.
City Law University?
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
I live in Tulsa. I'm sure you could make a City Law University here.
You could.
Right. There's they say that there's a game, the judges game. It's 10 or 12 judges, prosecutors, and professors. And these guys all just sit around and bullshit. But apparently they're all awful card players. Mike thinks they are anyway.
Yeah.
However, he walks in and he starts making bets for this guy. This is why I said the dean, because he actually calls him dean at one point, or one of the other guys.
He's probably like dean of the department.
Could be. I don't know anything about college.
Well, in college there's several deans.
I got you.
So like Nicole, like for instance, in one semester, like she'll have like 2 or 3 deans that happen to be the professor of her class, but they're also the dean of the department.
Oh, okay.
So like the dean of the finance department, dean of the science department.
Gotcha. Yeah. But it's this dude Petrovsky is his name.
Abe.
Yep, Abe. So he's sitting there, he's making bets for this guy, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? You don't even know what cards we have. He's like, oh, I know what cards you have. And so he goes through, he actually tells them like the cards that they have and what they're trying to do.
Well, he bets this one judge in his summer internship.
Right.
If he can tell him what he's got in his hand.
Right.
And the judge is like, I would never put a job like that on a bet, but let's see what you got.
Could be at the top of the list.
Yeah, let's see what you got. So he fucking calls out every card that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all blown away by him.
Right. And so, they're amazed.
And they actually invite him to sit down and have a seat with them at the table. And
I don't play cards.
Yeah. That's when we find out he gave up gambling.
He's retired from gambling, yeah. For now. Anyway, he goes home. He tells
the girlfriend.
Yeah, he tells his girlfriend, Joe, which is that Gretchen Mole lady, about the judges and the poker game because he was out all night or whatever. She's pissed off. He's like, look, I wasn't playing poker. I just was making a delivery and these guys were playing poker. And he asked her if he can borrow the Jeep, her Jeep, because his buddy Worm, a.k.a. Les Murphy, but they always call him Worm, is getting out of prison and he wants to go pick him up. So we meet Worm. That is Edward Norton's character.
Yeah, I was thinking about where I know that Gretchen Mol character from.
Yeah.
She was on Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, that's a damn good show.
Yeah.
I've only seen like 2 seasons of it, but I was really impressed.
Yeah. But yeah, so he goes and picks up Worm, like you said.
Yep.
It's Edward Norton.
It is Edward Norton. And he's like basically playing cards with these inmates at jail. And they're losing their asses, of course. He's taking their cigarettes, but he doesn't smoke.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I guess he was supposed to smoke in the movie, but Edward Norton like staunchly like put his foot down and he said, I'm not going to smoke. So they like wrote it in that he wasn't going to. But I think it's funny because he was also supposed to in American History X and he didn't. But then he flipped on him when he did Fight Club. He's like, yeah, if my character is supposed to smoke, I will. Like, so go figure it out.
Weird.
Yep. So apparently Worm goes back a ways. He's a bit of a con man. Back in his pre-prison life, he went through, he would sell like dime bags of oregano. He apparently got expelled from the private academy that they attended.
Oh, he's just a big old hustler.
Yeah, all around, yeah. Bad dude. He got a Ace of Spades tattooed on his arm.
He got an ace up his sleeve.
Yeah, exactly. On like his forearm, yeah.
He is in jail because him and Mike had the 5 starters of some prep school take a dive.
Right.
And that gives you prison time?
I think that they were just saying that he got expelled from school because I think later on they actually said
no, he went to jail and they were gonna.
Is that what he went to jail for?
Yeah, and they were gonna let him off light if he would tell him who was in with him and he wouldn't fold on Mike. That's why Mike feels that he has to be so loyal to Worm.
You'd think the prep school would be more pissed about that than call the police. They're like, this guy's an asshole. Bye. I don't know if that seems crazy. I thought they said that he got arrested for something else, but
nope.
No. Okay, if you say so. He gets to talking to Mike. He tells him that he wants to go back and find a game that's hot, and he's like, "Well, I don't gamble anymore."
He tells us about all the new tricks he knows how to do, and
right. He's like shuffling, but he's not really. He's just making it look like he's cutting the cards and shit.
He knows how to. They call him a mechanic.
Oh,
because he knows how to manipulate the cards,
right,
so that he can get what he wants out of the deck.
Mm-hmm. We see it later. It doesn't pay off very well.
We see it a lot in the movie.
Worm's trying to convince Mike to go ahead and gamble again because they were like the inseparable duo back in the day. He actually tells him that he's got an in with old gal at this house. It's pretty upper crest, we'll say.
Yeah, a bunch of rich white fucks.
Rich dudes that don't really know how to play cards.
Yeah.
And
they're like bros.
Yeah. And he went over. He convinces Mike to take him to this house so he can gamble or whatever. He's like, "Come on in." He's like, "Nah, I gotta go home." And
Mike leaves.
He goes to drive off.
Turns around,
but he doesn't. Yeah. Anyway, so he goes back in. They get their hustle going where they just they're
cheating their asses off.
Yeah. Like crazy.
They're talking across the table, using like hand signals.
Tap in, and he'll drop like a poker chip on a card, and that means something,
Yeah, and he's making sure that Mike gets the right cards.
Right. He actually says that at one point he had to keep Worm in check because they were cheating so much it was going to start to become pretty obvious what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
So fucking Mike was like, "You need to chill."
Mike will fold hands. That should be the winning hand, but he'll fold them because he knows, like, he's getting the way Worm is. He's being so aggressive that he's dealing every winning hand to Mike.
Right.
So there's no way it wouldn't be obvious.
It's to a point where we find out why Worm is being so aggressive about trying to get this fucking money pretty quick. He goes through. Worm actually winds up losing, we'll say. So that he can bow out of the game and then Mike can leave and they'll just split the money later. They'll meet up later.
Well, he told us in the car right there that he owes a bunch of money.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, he owes like $15,000 to just or is it $10,000?
He owns $10,000 to, or maybe $15,000, but he owes it to a bunch of different loan sharks and shit.
Right. So, I wrote down Mike takes Worm to Teddy's gambling basement. Or is it Joey Kanish's? Yeah, it's Joey's. They go down to fucking Joey Kanish's basement or whatever where they meet with Famke Janssen.
No, that's Chesterfield's.
Is it Chesterfield's?
That's the name of that place, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. I just know that Joey Knish was like there.
Yeah, seems to be everywhere they go.
He just kind of hangs out. Yeah. The only time they actually go to find him in this movie is when Matt Damon needs money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's there. Basically, Worm tells him that he knows Mike, that's like his buddy, and he's like, just give me $2,000 in credit, which they had already split like $600. He could have made something out of that, you know, but he gets $2,000 in credit.
It's on Mike's credit.
Right. So it's Mike's ass on the line.
Yeah, because
now.
Mike actually did the introduction to Petra.
Right.
Said he's good. I'm good for it. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of my boy.
It's so weird to me seeing Famke Janssen not like playing a Russian chick, because I know like in the movie Goldeneye she had a Russian accent. She's very Russian.
Well, her name is Petra.
Right.
So she's still kind of like
maybe Russian a little bit. But also like, you know, an X-Men. I mean, like she doesn't have mutant powers here either, so it's kind of different role. She's just kind of straight laced, you know, just a regular American chick,
just kind of super hot.
More than kind of. So freaking he drops Worm off, and then he goes back to the house, and Joe, his girlfriend, basically confronts him, and he's like, no, I was just out, you know, I wanted to show Worm a good time, you know, Mike does. And she's like, well, tell me that you weren't out gambling. He's like, I'm not out gambling. She's like, well, you at least lie to me, you know. And so he's like, I'm going to go take a shower, because I guess they had to get together to meet with
study group.
Yeah. There's some kind of case, legal homework.
Mock trial.
Yeah. I was thinking, mock trial with Jay Reinhold from Arrested Development. Because they had Judge Reinhold, and like the only reason they made him the judge was because his name was fucking Judge, you know? So when he's taking a shower, she goes through and like searches his pocket and finds a big old wad of cash, you know? Kind of like finding a chick's phone number or, you know, baggie of drugs or whatever. This guy's got an addiction problem, you know?
Yeah, she says she found his gangster wad.
Yeah, his gangster wad.
Yeah.
All right. So Mike's the lead counsel on this mock trial, and he goes over to meet with them after he showers up and everything. Joe's already there, and their classmates are already there, because I guess they're in class together.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just get started, and then fucking Joey Knish shows up, and he's like, I need to talk to you. Takes him outside, and he's like, hey, your boy's cheating
his ass off.
Yeah, and he's gonna start making a scene, fucking give you a bad rap because you vouch for him and shit. And he's like, I'll take care of this. So he goes over to the fucking Chesterfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he grabs Worm, and he's like, hey, you need to quit fucking around. You're making me look bad, making everybody look bad. He goes, you need to lose back, because he's playing with these two Russian dudes, and he tells him, you know, you need to lose their money back to them, because you take it from them, and that's not right, you know.
Yeah, they're connected to the mob, and if they find out you're fucking hustling them, they're gonna kill you.
Right? Did they? Oh, he said that they'd been there for a while, like fucking around, so he didn't think that they were picking up on anything yet.
Right.
But it's starting to get like dark almost outside. Like this dude's been there all day, you know.
So that's another recurring theme throughout the movie. They always talk about like, give me 8 hours. Like,
right.
I've never played poker for that long.
I don't have enough money to play poker for 8 hours, you know. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy. Especially considering, I thought it was kind of weird. So they act like these fucking, like, this money is like a big deal, you know. Like, he's like, oh, $10,000, I'm fucked, you know. I could probably come up with 10 grand if I needed to. If I had like 5 days to, or somebody's gonna fucking kill me, I could make 10 grand happen, you know.
You could?
But oh yeah, easily.
Like sell your car?
Well, he didn't have a car to sell, but
Right.
I mean, I could come up with some shit. I guarantee you I could come up with 10 grand. I would owe some people some money.
Mm-hmm.
Like my credit's gonna be shot, but I wouldn't die.
Oh,
you know?
right, I got you.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Just go get a payday loan, never pay that shit back, you know, like just do a bunch of different shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it was. This is the scene where they talk about what he did. He was apparently he's like talking to him about how he made fake credit cards, and that's why I went to prison. And he's like, I didn't make them, I distributed them. whenever he like goes to get the hot dog or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "This is fucking gross," and like throws the shit out or whatever. I guess that's what he went to prison for.
Okay.
Oh well. I'm glad school didn't throw him in prison.
Yeah. So Mike takes Worm's word that he's going to lose the money back to these Russian cats.
Right.
He doesn't. He actually cleans them all out.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes out to check out with Petra, and instead of giving the $2,000 that she lent, he takes that too.
Yeah, he's like, "No, I need the $2,000."
And now it's on the juice, which they use throughout this film as a reference to it's on interest.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what the fuck the juice was.
Yeah, if it's on juice, that means there is accruing like a 5% per day.
Oh.
Some crazy like high percentage.
5% per day is a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Of course, keep in mind this is Mike's ass. It's not even Worm's ass that's on the line. So he wound up, like you said, winning $8,000, and then he keeps the $2,000. So he's got $10,000 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike, he missed his meeting altogether with those other kids that are in school, he's in school with, and so he finds Joe at this bar, and she chews his ass out over the cash. He tells her that he actually felt alive for the first time.
For the first time since he lost that money.
Yeah, at the card table.
I don't think he thought.
Don't tell your girl that, dude. Yeah. Girls don't want to feel like you're just meandering through. They want to feel appreciated,
Well, they want to feel like you're alive when you're fucking them.
Right. Or being around them.
Yeah, or cuddling.
Right, yeah. Netflix with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel alive when I Netflix with anybody, but we go to a titty bar where Worm's at.
Yep.
And this dude, Grandma, finds Worm.
Grandma.
I thought that was a weird name, man.
It's Grama.
Yeah. Grandma's hitting you up for money. Well, you boys sure are nice,
Apparently, Grandma used to work for Worm.
Yeah.
He was like his collections guy.
Before prison, yeah.
Yeah, but Worm says he went and bought up all of Worm's debt, or Grandma says he went and bought up all of Worm's debt.
Right.
And now he owes him $25,000.
I guess he's staked in with Teddy KGB.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this fucking money. So he says he owed $15,000 to 5 guys. But Grandma says, now I consolidated all that shit. So instead of 15, you only owe one person, and that's me, and it's 25 instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Teddy KGB's backing him. Worm tells Grandma he'll give him his money this week, but Grandma goes and beats his ass and takes his money anyway.
Takes the $10,000.
That's my thing. Well, yeah, they even say later that he only owes 15 now.
You're right.
They? Yeah. So that 10 went toward it. That's pretty good. I'd say having $10,000 the day you get out of prison, I can't be mad at that.
Pretty good
For
day.
the next day, yeah. So Mike meets with Dean Petrovsky. He wants Mike to work things out with his legal team for missing the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked him all about his card playing and like how he knew everybody's hand. And I kind of like it because he explains it to him, and the dean's like, whatever you just said. He has no idea.
He says, well, so you're playing the man.
Right, yeah. And then basically the dean tells him the story about when he was 13 and his folks wanted him to be a rabbi.
Yeah, it was like a family tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody expected him to be a rabbi. What he knew of the Torah at the age of 12 was like he was just as wise as like a 40-year-old.
Yeah, he was like the boss.
Yeah.
But there's only 5 books to the Torah. And so my thing is, it's the first 5 books of the Bible. I mean, I could read that shit. Probably have it memorized by the age of 12,
All right. So far, we found out that you're really good at collecting money. You're super smart. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about how awesome you are, Shane?
Hey, check this out. Quick caveat. I actually thought when they did the J.J. Abrams 2009 Star Trek movie, I always thought Matt Damon would have been a good pick to play Captain Kirk, actually. I think that he has like some characteristics that look like a young William Shatner, and he's kind of cocky, and fucking runs his mouth a lot, and he's been in some action stuff.
I like the guy they picked.
Yeah, Chris Pine's not bad, but I very easily could see that though, and Chris Pine's really grown on me.
They should have went with Chris Pratt.
See, I think he's too muscular.
He does everything though now.
Well, yeah. He's kind of gone the opposite from William Shatner, though, because Shatner was, like, fit and thin back then, and, like, Chris Pratt was all, like, frumpy, and his guts hanging over his belt, you know, and all that. And now he's like big and awesome, you know, bulky dude, and Shatner's portly. So they've swapped. He's the Bizarro Shatner. He's Khan. So anyway, caveat over. So the dean tells him, or he told I guess the dean decided when he was 13 that he didn't want to be a law or be a rabbi. Instead, he wanted to practice law, and his dad got pissed and sent him to New York City. And so the dean studied law. And that's what it is.
Yeah, family's pissed.
Yeah.
They like disowned him almost.
Right.
But he said you can't run away from who you are.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, so you're telling me, or he's like, if you had to go back, would you choose to do it again? And he's like, what choice? You know, like, that's what he is. He's a law guy, you know. He said that our destiny chooses us. And he's basically telling Matt Damon, I can tell your heart's not in this law thing. You're good at it, but it's not what you love to do. So you need to find out what it is you love to do and go do that.
You're obviously pretty crazy about these cards.
Mm-hmm.
So we find that Worm is waiting for Mike in front of his apartment.
Yep.
And we go upstairs, and Joe's cleaned the place out. She's gone.
She's done, son.
So they say,
that's fine.
Fuck it, let's go to Atlantic City.
Yeah, have a good time.
Like, my chick left me, I'm all in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I was only not gambling for her.
Right. Which, me and you talked about this scene last night a little bit, but I actually, there's like an atmosphere in casinos. I love it, dude. Like, I wish I didn't have to lose all my money when I went in there, because I like being around that shit, you know?
They're exciting.
Yeah, they are. There's like all these machines going off, and they're making fun noises, you know? And shit.
None of that shit's an accident.
No, it's not.
It's all to keep you there.
Yeah, it is.
I had the privilege of working in Las Vegas in some casinos. And
oh, did you?
Got to see that firsthand. You didn't know I worked at the Venetian?
No, I didn't know that. I knew you lived in Vegas.
Yeah, I worked at the Venetian.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Petra's at a poker table dealing cards.
All of the regular crew is there.
I thought it was weird that they, on a whim, decide we're going to go to Atlantic City, and their boys are all there chilling.
Yeah, but I guess it's like what they do on
their
weekends.
hangout kind of thing. Yeah. It's their scene.
He explained to us that, you know, that on the weekends you can't get a game in New York City because everybody's in Atlantic City taking care of tourists.
Right.
So
cleaning them up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's the like you know, Worm says that he's got to go, like, you know, sow his wild oats. Basically, he sees a girl walk by.
He's got to go get laid.
Try to nail her.
Yeah.
And so Mike goes over to the table where all the boys are at, and they wind up. There's like random strangers that'll walk up, tourists, whatever.
It was really clever the way they did it. So there's like 2 seats open at the table. The rest of the players at the table are like pros, pretty much.
Yeah, but they're all spread out, so there's 2 seats together.
There's 2 seats right in the middle together at the table, and they go through like kind of as we're watching this all go down, and Mike is talking over the top of the film. We're seeing like 2 new dopes like sit down every few minutes. They lose a bunch of money and they get up and walk away.
Right.
And Mike explains that they're not playing together. Him and the other, you know, high level poker players. They're not playing together, but they're not playing against each other either.
Right. They're all just in it to fucking take these guys for a bath.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, Worm shows up and he's like, "All right, give me some chips." And then the lady that's running the table, I guess Petra left, but she's
no, the lady that she works at the casino.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, Petra was sitting down gambling.
Oh, I was confused. I thought Petra was dealing cards.
No,
because she was standing, so it kind of threw me. But yeah, the lady that's running the table, she's like, "Hey, you can't be taking them chips." And Worm's like, "Hey, let's get out of here, Mike." And so he's like, "What'd you do with all your fucking money?" And he's like, Grandma took his money," which sounds weird to say.
Yeah. They went and got some noodles.
Yeah, that's what those noodles look good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good looking.
And then that's when we hear about he explains to Mike what happened.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, basically he says he got his ass beat and Grandma took his money. So Joe tells, he's late to the case.
Yeah, for their mock trial.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up late. He's supposed to be like the lead prosecutor.
Right.
Or and he doesn't even know what the fuck is going on really at all.
No. He says he's like, well, according to Johnson versus California. And
Brown
like,
versus the state of Texas.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, that doesn't have anything to do with this.
Well,
We're done.
I guess they had specifically mentioned, like, in their rules for the case, like, that one wouldn't be mentioned.
Right. They're like, we're not accepting that as, precedent or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so another girl on his team stands up, does what she does.
She rocks it, yeah. Fucking steals his glory. So Joe winds up telling Mike she's out. She's gone for good.
Yeah, she officially dumps him. Mm-hmm. Even though I thought it was pretty clear.
Yeah, if she takes her shit, that's a pretty good pretty good indicator that she's out.
She took the sheets off the bed.
Right.
She's not planning on coming back.
You know what is funny? You ain't breaking my heart. I can sleep on a bare mattress. Like,
well,
you think that hurts my feelings?
Sheep aren't cheap. Or they're cheap.
Yeah.
You go to Walmart and buy a bed set.
It's
for
more
nothing.
of she's making a point.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so
Petra goes to Mike's apartment.
Well, Mike's watching Johnny Chan.
Johnny fucking Chan
on the World Series of Poker, like 1988 World Series of Poker or something like that.
It's an old one.
And then Petra comes to visit.
Yeah, this is where he's fucking stupid because she's trying to get down. She's like, "You want me to stay?" And he's like, "No, you should better get on out of here."
Well, she's there. She's there to let him know what the fuck Worm's been doing.
Yeah, Worm's been fucking losing money all over town
on his credit.
Yeah.
So he's 7 in the hole at Chesterfield.
Right. He still owes the 2 from earlier, and so he's out like $9,000 now. Just racking up debt. You know. Petra kisses him. I was like, dude, you gotta go for this shit. No. He pussies out. So Mike finds Worm at this gymnasium.
You get the impression that those two have a past.
I think that they had something going on before, yeah. And I'm actually surprised that they're on good enough terms because she obviously still is pining after him,
But she may not have been pining after him, but she saw her an opportunity.
She's trying to get freaky though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. They never talk about it.
Nope. Mike finds Worm hiding in a school gym. Mm-hmm. Apparently, this is his hiding spot forever.
Mm-hmm. All the way from when they were kids and shit. Mm. He'd get in trouble with bullies or whatever, fuck somebody up and then run to the school gym, hide.
He was hiding from some guy who he had sex with his mother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, I don't think I made this clear enough, but I actually really do enjoy Edward Norton a lot in this movie. I was talking some pretty mad shit on that dude earlier, but I think he's pretty good in this.
He's good in this movie.
Yeah, I like him. Because he conveys the scumbag type of thing pretty well, I think. But he's also kind of sympathetic because he even talks about how nobody ever went to bat for him, or Mike talks about how nobody ever had his back before, Mm-hmm. And so you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a nature versus nurture thing going on. That he is a scumbag, but that's just because that's what he's been around. His dad used to beat him and shit, and so this is the only thing that he really knows is the street and hustling,
Yep.
But they decide they're going to go talk to Grandma personally. Both of them are.
Get right.
Yeah, try to square up. Fucking. So, Mike tells Grandma that he's going to vouch for him, that he owes basically $15,000 in 5 days. The two of them need to come up with that shit. And then Worm and Mike start playing all over town, but Mike tells Worm that they're not going to cheat. They're going to do it fair. They're going to do it even. Whatever. And so Worm really doesn't even play. It's just Mike at the tables most of the time.
Going on a run.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Then he goes to, they were calling out they start lining up these games, and they're calling the country club game.
Right.
The Italian game.
Yeah.
There's
one over just right across the river. I mean, just shit all over the place.
The Greek game.
Pretty much, yeah.
They have all these different games that are, I guess, regular games.
I assume so.
That people go to.
Just people playing.
Yeah, and they all play different styles of poker.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going on the run, but when he's playing, I guess, in the Italian game, based off all the racist stuff that Worm was saying.
Yeah.
And he can't read the guy.
I thought that looked like the country club game, but that might have been where the Italians were playing. Was that the country club?
I don't know.
They Mike loses a big old hand. He winds up getting fucking wiped out. Or he loses a big chunk of money to this one dude.
Like $3,000 or something like that.
He said they've been playing for 64 hours straight.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost 3 days.
So he's tired, and Worm says, I know what you need, and apparently it's a shave and a haircut.
Shaving a haircut, 2 bits.
I've never looked at my boys and be like, you know what you need, man?
Let's go get a shave.
Let's go get a shave.
Yeah. kind of strange. And they're sitting there the whole time, like jabbering away. Dude, if some guy's got a straight razor in my throat, I'm not moving. I ain't saying shit. I'm just going to sit here and not move until this dude's done doing his thing.
Then Worm lets us know he knows about a game in Binghamton.
Yeah. Some state troopers.
Yeah, it's 5 hours away from. Well, he calls them municipal employees.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and it's a 5 hour trip there, 5 hour trip back. So it's because when they were at Grandma's, they came up with a deal. They had 5 days to get 15 grand together.
Right.
Or Grandma was gonna kill him.
Yeah, I said that.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then so they go, and then we find out real quick they're cops.
Right. Yeah, it's all cops that are there, and it looks like some ratty fucking like a VFW or something. You know, it's just a real like fake wood paneling shit on the walls. Not impressive at all. So he says, "Hey, you know, we gotta play this straight. We're not fucking around here." Apparently, these guys go like every time they get paid and just gamble all night. You know. Mm-hmm. So
Mike doesn't want Worm there.
Right.
He's like, "You're gonna leave and come pick me up in 8 hours."
Right.
And Worm was like, "No, I'll go there. I'll play straight up. I'll play right." And Mike was like,
"You can go by yourself."
Go.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 8 hours.
All right. Fine. I'll go bowling or something. Yeah. Mike goes in, starts playing. He's doing pretty well, and then fucking Worm shows up, and you're like, "Fuck, dude, go away!"
Didn't you get that feeling in your gut, like, "Ah, shit,
it's about to go down"? Yeah. Bad.
And it does.
Yeah. Worm's cheating his ass off again. He's dealing from the bottom of the deck to Mike. Everybody else, he's just giving them shit cards, you know. And finally, they call him out on it, you know.
Yeah, he like even Mike's even like just throwing cards away because again, Worm is giving him like
he got like a pair of kings, yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I fold," basically telling him like, "Quit fucking doing this shit," you know. Yeah. So the cops figure out Worm's cheating, and they beat Mike and Worm's ass, basically. They take all their money, and then basically Worm tells him he has like $300 in his shoe somewhere. And then don't Worm and Mike get in a fight, like a physical
argument?
Oh yeah, that's what it is. And Worm just bounces. He leaves. He's like, "I'm out. You know, there's no way that fucking we're gonna get this money, so I'm leaving." And it was crazy to me. This is the last time we see Edward Norton in this movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't show back up at the very end. It doesn't show him on a beach sipping mojitos. He's done, dude.
Yeah, he runs.
Yeah.
Which I like because I think it'd be true to that character.
Yeah. No, he's out. Yeah. So he goes back. Mike goes to Grandma's, and he says that he's... Worm actually told Mike he's working that Grandma's in cahoots with Teddy KGB, and that's why he dips. So Mike goes to see Grandma. He says, "Hey, if you want me to cut you some slack, you need to take it up with Teddy." And so Mike goes see Joey at this fucking weird sauna thing.
Like a bathhouse. Yeah.
I would never go to a bathhouse. There's a stigma about that shit, dude.
Well, on the West Coast, there's a stigma about it. On the East Coast, like a lot of like Russians do it.
Yeah.
A lot of Greeks do it. Like it's pretty traditional in like their cultures. On the West Coast, it's all about getting your dick sucked.
Oh, I got you. I don't think we have those in Oklahoma, really. But so anyway, Mike goes see Joey to borrow money. Joey ain't gonna loan him shit. He's like, "What's it gonna get you? A day? You know, I'm not giving you any fucking money." So he tells him a story about how he played Johnny Chan at one point.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were in Atlantic City, and he, you know, like everybody in the casino is like coming over there to watch Johnny Chan play. People are just sitting down. They don't give a shit. They're losing money to Johnny Chan. Like they get to tell a story about playing with Johnny Chan. So he finally gets a spot at the table. He sits down, and he's going back and forth with Johnny Chan, but ultimately he calls Johnny's bluff and wins.
He just wanted to bluff Johnny Chan.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, yeah.
He won a hand against Johnny Chan. So like for him, that was good enough.
Yep.
That's how he knows he can beat anybody.
Right.
He beat the legend.
The world champ. Yeah. So he can't get any money out of Joey. He goes to see Dean Petrovsky. He tells him he's quitting school. He's like, it's just not, gonna happen. He's trying to hit him up for money, and he winds up getting $10,000. And so he takes the 10, goes to see Teddy KGB the night before the money's due.
Yeah.
8 hours before.
This is what the whole movie's been built on.
It is.
All the way up to this scene.
Here's where you get to see fucking nasty John Malkovich sloppily eating Oreos with like the shit fucking like the strings of saliva with cookie in them across his fucking mouth. It's disgusting, bro.
And they do a lot of close-ups on him, like and stuff
just
too.
sitting there because this guy habitually like
Eats Oreos.
Somebody would smoke a cigarette. This guy eats Oreos. Yeah,
He keeps them in a poker chip
little
tray.
poker chip tray. Yeah. Little sticker on it says "Don't touch these."
Yeah, I like to believe that they said in the script that he ate cookies, and he came up with the idea of eating Oreos in a cookie tray or in the chip tray.
Maybe
I don't
they're
know if
Hydrox. Remember that shit?
Yeah. I don't know if he actually came up with that idea, but I like to believe that John Malkovich was like, "How about this?"
Right. And he thought it was a clever idea, and the director's like,
"Okay,
whatever.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck what you eat it out of."
And KGB's actually being pretty cool, because although Mike owes him the money, he's got $10,000 right there. He could pay towards his $15,000 right now.
Right.
But KGB agrees that it's technically still Mike's money until tomorrow morning.
Right.
When the deadline
he doesn't
hits.
like try to beat his ass and rob him.
He's actually he's being pretty cool.
Right.
And so they decide that they're going to play one-on-one, heads up, until one person has it all.
Right. The whole 10 grand's transferred hands, basically, until one person has that entire pot.
Mm-hmm. So they go 10,000 versus 10,000, and he goes all in on the first hand.
Yep. Wins 5.
Yep.
At that point, I'm like, all right, now we're getting somewhere,
KGB has to fold, and he's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we get some more of that over dialogue where he's basically like, I've chopped his leg off
Right.
in the first hand.
Right.
So now I just got to keep pushing him until he falls over.
Mm-hmm. So he winds up winning all of Teddy KGB's money
Really fast.
Yeah, pretty quick. And of course, you're thinking like that's not the end of this, you know. And he's like, "That's cool." He's like, "I still got the rest of your money." That's what Teddy KGB tells him. He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, Grandma even shows up.
Yeah.
And like starts stacking the chips up.
Mm-hmm.
The 15,000 worth because Mike he pulled his additional 5 out of the pile.
Right.
He's like, I got my $5,000. You have your money. We're good.
Right.
He starts to fucking walk out of there.
And Teddy KGB just goads him into keep him playing.
Yeah. He's like, "It's okay. I'm paying you back with your money."
Right. Yeah.
I went up. What? He's like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "From last time when I fucked you in your ass."
Right. Talks about like how he penetrated him and shit. And it's uncomfortable.
So it worked.
Right. Yeah. He says, what is it? He said, "If you never put the money on the table, you never lose it. But you never win anymore either,
Mm-hmm.
So
And the movie does us a favor and kind of gets through this scene pretty quickly.
It does.
It swings the money. Now we see KGB has all the money.
Yep.
Mike has a small stack in front of him.
Right.
And he explains to us that sometimes the cards aren't as important as your stack.
Right.
So he's about to lose,
Mm-hmm.
and then he sees the cookie tell.
What was the tell? Where he like breaks the cookie open?
He like
or?
listens to it.
Is that the tell?
Yeah.
Oh.
He like pulls it up.
Well, I thought it was
Listens
weird
to-
because it's like right then he's like, "Oh, how'd you win that hand?" And he gets pissed and throws the fucking cookies.
He realized it.
Oh.
So Mike basically told him how he knew.
I got
He
you.
looked down at like the cookies.
Yeah.
And that's when KGB was like, "Fuck,"
Yeah.
and threw his cookies.
Well, then Mike continues winning without the cookies, so he can't use the tell after that. Or?
Well, and KGB's just fucked. Like his mind's all fucked up.
Oh.
And he even explains to him. So like Mike ends up winning the whole thing. So now he's got 40 grand, 60 grand.
Something like that. Yeah.
He should have been 40 grand, but I guess it's 60. It's 60 because he tells us it's 60.
Yeah. Well, so he lost 30 originally, and so he went in. He won the initial because they needed 15. He came
20.
in with 15.
They
or
came in with 10.
Yeah.
Played
He
for
won
20.
another fucking 15 or 10 off of him, and then I guess they played up to 60. So
Yeah.
because he originally bet 30 and he lost 30. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess the math works out. But
Anyway, so whatever it was that happened, he sees. Oh, the last hand is great though when they're going back and forth.
yeah.
Because Teddy KGB is like what they call in poker a splash in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's against the rules in casinos and shit. Like you'll get kicked off
I
the
don't
table.
even know what splashing is. So
It's dropping your chips in the pot like that.
where you fucking sprinkle them, I guess.
Well,
or-
he was sprinkling them, but
Yeah.
like it's like you and I are playing poker, man, we're both like gassy as fuck.
Yeah.
So
those burgers.
yeah. So let's imagine that there's a pile of chips in front of us.
Right.
And I'm throwing, so like, you bet $40.
Right.
I'm matching your $40, but I'm throwing the $40 into the pot.
Oh.
Now the reason they don't let you do that is because you can't verify. I just put $40 in the pot.
I got you.
I could have threw a $5 chip and said,
Right.
no, those ones are my chips.
Right.
But that's why you're supposed to put them on the table in front of the pot, and then you can push them in.
Hmm.
So, anyways,
Okay.
Teddy splashed in the pot, and Mike asks him not to, and he says, "In my place, I will splash the pot whenever the fuck I please."
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah. I love that. Just love
Fucking
that
boss.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you said you never played poker.
Never.
But this is the one line, like, when that came out, I was like, oh, that's what movie this was from. Because I've sat around poker tables with friends before, and they've said things like, no splash in the pot. And someone else would be like, I'll splash the pot whenever the fuck I please.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, where's that movie from? I've always wondered.
Oh,
Now I know.
there you go.
So the whole point of this movie was me is to find out where that quote came from.
Ah,
So I feel good now.
so good movie.
Yeah. But yeah, we see that Mike wins.
Hey.
KGB is really fucking pissed.
So he keeps going through, and because keep in mind, I'm a fucking poker retard.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps like having him like deal more cards or whatever, but he already has like a winning hand, from what I gathered anyway, because he had a couple of aces.
Okay,
and so he's like, yeah, go ahead. Or he
okay,
gets
so
another
and the way it
card.
works in poker is one card you, one card me, one card you, one card me. So now we each have 2 cards. All right, discard a card.
Right.
3 cards out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the flop.
Right.
Okay, so you flop. Well, he flopped a straight.
Yeah.
He won the hand right then,
Yeah.
but he didn't know what Teddy was chasing.
Ooh, so he discarded a card that he needed.
No.
No. Okay.
The discard, you don't see the discard.
I
It
got
just
you.
you get it out. So then after the flop, so now he flopped a straight. Okay, then you discard a card. Then the turn. That's the 4th card is called the turn.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 5th card, he does another discard. And on the 5th card, it's called the river.
I see.
He has an ace of spades.
Yeah.
And Teddy was chasing aces. So he has a pair of aces in his hand. He's got the 3rd ace. He knows he just won that hand.
Right.
But he didn't know that fucking on the flop
That fucking Mike had the straight.
that he had already won the hand
Yeah.
pretty much. And he was checking him the whole game.
Yeah.
Check, 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 check,
Yeah.
check. Which means I'm not betting.
Right.
I'm checking to see what you're going to do first.
Ah.
So a lot of times people will be aggressive and they'll be like, oh, you want to check me? Here's $5,000. Check
I
that.
see. Yeah.
So now for you to stay in the hand, you got to hit the $5,000 or you're flop.
Right.
So, or you fold, I mean.
You folding, yeah.
Yeah, so in KGB, when he wins all the money, like KGB even starts yelling, like, this motherfucker just check the whole game. I'm like, well, it worked.
Yeah.
Um,
Fucking lost.
and like the
Hard.
goons are ready to come whip that ass. And Teddy KGB's like, no.
Hey, he won, you know.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Give him his money.
He didn't cheat, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wins. He wins all Teddy's pot. Mike goes pay everybody that he owes money to, and he actually goes to see Dean Petrovsky and give him back his 10. In the meantime, he runs into Joe, and he's like, "Hey, will you give this to Dean Petrovsky?" And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "You should call me sometime if you need a lawyer." And he's like, "I will." And I will. And then he says that he's going to Vegas because he wants to compete in the World Series of Poker.
He's got that same $30,000 he started the movie with.
Yep.
Back in his
The one he lost.
He calls it. I thought he said 3 stacks of high society. I think this.
I don't know. Yeah, all that lingo's lost on me. So, anyway, that's the way the movie concludes.
That is the way the movie.
I would imagine if they ever did do a sequel, that it'll have something to do with Worm making an appearance. But because fucking his story, I was really surprised that they never fucking he showed up like at the last second, and like, I got your back, buddy. You know, like they always do in these fucking movies, you know, and shit. Nope, never. He's done. You
But
know?
I think I like it because it's true to his character.
Yeah, no, he's out, you know. He thinks he's fucking dead, so he's gone, you know. What did you think about Rizzle?
About what?
Rizzle.
Rizzle.
Rounders, yeah.
Oh, see, it doesn't work that way.
No, not really.
God, you're
Round
so,
Dizzle?
You're so white.
I'm sorry, Snoop.
That's my cousin.
I brought shame upon this house.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the movie.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing earth-shattering,
No,
you know.
not gonna make my top 10 list.
Right.
But it's good.
But I've definitely wasted 2 hours doing, like, way worse stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a decent movie. The story's cool. I like the scene with the KGB.
Yeah.
I like him over. Okay, look, you're a guy who's never played poker, right? But you were
Yes.
able to understand what was going on in the movie because of the way they built the dialogue on top of it.
Yeah, they break it down Barney style.
Yeah, so I like that.
Yeah. No, it wasn't bad. I never was, like, confused, like, wait, what the fuck? You know? It wasn't like I was watching fucking Johnny fucking Chan or anything, you know, World Series of Poker. Because then when I watch that shit on TV, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. I mean, some people just clap, so I guess something good happened, you know. Like, that's about the extent of my poker knowledge. No, it wasn't bad. In fact, as far as acting goes, I think that, you know, this would probably be like maybe the 4th or 5th best acting I've seen out of Edward Norton. Like, all around. I thought he did really good in this movie. I was like, I'm surprised that he saved up all of his acting gumption for this, you know. But it's whatever.
And then they made him. They wrote an asshole of a character,
Right.
and from what you're telling me, he's an asshole. So
Yeah.
it was easy.
Yep, there you go. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean that's all
Whatever.
there really is to say about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't groundbreaking or mind blowing.
It was fun.
It was a fun little movie.
Yeah. What you been watching this week? Tell me
I
about it.
watched. I believe it's called Who's Your Daddy, and that was with Owen Wilson and the dude from The Office and Hangover. What's that guy's name?
Oh, Ed Helms?
Yeah, Ed Helms.
Yeah.
I watched it where they're trying to find their dad.
Oh, I think I've seen previews for that.
Yeah.
Is that where they're like the twins?
Yes, they're twins trying to find their
Yes. My boss at work was talking about that shit. He said it was on HBO.
dad. Yeah, that's
So,
where I watched
yeah.
it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he said it was all right.
Yep, it's it. It's
Nothing
all right.
great.
It's nothing special. I watched Deadpool 2.
Oh, really? What'd you think about that?
I loved it.
It was good.
I really liked
How's
Deadpool.
it stand up to the first one?
It's crazier.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's funnier.
Can't be mad about that. I thought the first one was hilarious.
It's great.
Yeah.
The first one's great. I think the second one just took it up a next level. So don't judge me for listening, but Farrah's watched 1 and 2. So she watched 1 with us.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, don't let your kids watch it. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, and she was only like 2 or 3 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, this is nothing too crazy.
It's nothing,
And
yeah.
I judge it based off of her. So I told you about how my parents were when I was a kid. Like, if me and my brother couldn't handle the movie,
Right.
we started having reactions to it. My parents would be like, why don't you go play in your
Yeah,
room?
turn that shit off.
Yeah, go play in your room
do
or whatever.
something.
But I do the same thing with Farrah. So sometimes we'll be watching the movie and she'll be like, this is scary, Daddy. I'm like, you want me to go put on your shows in your room?
Yeah,
or
go watch Trolls.
Yeah, or whatever she
fucking
wants
something.
to do.
Yeah.
So I do that. But she watched that whole movie.
Yeah, didn't bother.
She laughed when it was funny. She said things were gross when she saw someone's butt, whatever. She'd be like, it's gross.
Right.
But she still watched it and thought it was fun.
Yeah. Is that on HBO?
No.
Or, no.
Redbox.
Ah, I see. This week I watched The Office. So
I watched a few episodes of that yesterday, actually.
yeah, I like that show. I like the early seasons up to the end of season 5. I think season 6 it starts to dip in quality a bit.
Is that one where Sheeta Jones left?
No, that was after season 3.
I mean, for me, the show quality went downhill after she was
really?
gone. Yeah, I fell in love with her on that show. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, she really is. Yeah, she's great. What was it? I watched this crazy movie. This is the one I was talking about last night, but I didn't open up to you because I wanted to talk about it here. But that's called Videodrome. And
What?
it's called Videodrome, Drome.
Drome?
Yes. And it's with James Woods. And it's this crazy movie. It was put out by David Cronenberg, who's into all that body horror shit, like The Fly, with Jeff Goldblum and all that shit, you know? But it's a weird one, man. It's this dude. He works for this, this TV studio. He's like one of the higher ups, like executive. And they get this weird transmission in from Pittsburgh. And apparently it is a deal where like there's like S&M, like this woman being whipped and all this other shit, and he like watches it and he thinks that it's like a fake production, you know. And so anyway, he's like mesmerized by it, and every day at the same time they get this transmission, and so like he has his technician, the tech guy, like go through and record it. And so he keeps watching these videos and trying to find out what he can about him and shit. And as it turns out, there's like this frequency that it's putting out that causes like this tumor to grow in his brain. And so anyway, like he winds up hallucinating and like he gets these headaches real bad and it starts to like affect him physically. Like he gets this rash on his stomach and just starts seeing weirdo shit, you know? It's a strange movie, man, but I find it compelling. So
it is strange.
Yeah, it's pretty different. Of course, we watched, the Big Brothers and my Better Call Sauls and all that shit. I am looking forward because Shameless, I guess, starts up soon. So...
What came back? What was the show we talked about last episode that was supposed to be coming back? And it came back. We started watching
Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark.
Yeah, we were watching that.
Ozark season 2.
Pretty good.
Really good.
Yeah. We've only watched, I think, one episode, though, thus far.
I think we've got 3 or 4 in.
There's just not that many hours in the day. So, yeah. One thing I like is on, Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Oh, God.
They're orbiting this planet called Bajor. And, anyway... You rude fucker.
Were you really getting ready to talk to me about Deep Space Nine?
Yeah. On this planet Bajor, the day cycle with the planet or the star the planet orbits around, it's on a 26-hour cycle. And I was like, man, an extra 2 hours in a day. Imagine all the shit I could get done, you know?
Yeah, you could watch a whole nother movie.
Right, exactly.
So you could accomplish just as much.
Because I didn't even notice it at first, and then they'll be like, hey, we're meeting in the conference room at like 25:30. I was like, 25:30? What the fuck is that? You know? It was pretty cool. But, so there's that. Have you any clue what we're watching next week, Mike?
September 1998.
Think hard. You won't guess it, I guarantee.
I won't guess it?
I don't know, maybe. Put something out there. We'll see what you got.
Nothing. I got nothing.
Nothing? Watching Rush Hour.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
It makes me feel old knowing that movie came out 20 years ago. But, yeah. What's even stranger is I've never watched that movie.
Well,
so
you've never seen Rush Hour?
Nope. I don't like buddy comedies all that much. And I think Chris Tucker's really annoying, so I skipped it.
Well, when you get the chance to listen to that episode, folks, you're going to listen to me. I'm trying to think of the right word. I'm basically what I'm gonna do a lot of Chris Tucker impressions, not very well.
So there's that to look forward to. We know your impressions are fucking terrible. So
the worst.
Yeah, really bad. Any final thoughts before I talk about social media?
Nope.
I
got a 2-hour drive ahead of me.
Yeah, you do. Sounds awesome. No, if you feel like it, you can always check us out on Facebook. It's Casino Royale with cheese, all separate words. That's our Facebook page. If you want to email us, cheesymovie@yahoo.com. Our Twitter, Casino Royale WCH. You can look us up on iTunes and YouTube if you do a search for Casino Royale W Cheese, all one word. And you can also search that when looking up Instagram. And we are finally done with our 10-day movie countdown thing. So there's that.
You know, before we get off, let's see.
Yeah, go ahead and tell everybody what we threw up.
So we talked about it on last episode, and Shane was kind enough to be like, if you want to do it, Mike, go for it. And I was like, okay, cool. I never did one.
Fucking douchebag.
So I'm going to look to see what we participated in. Okay, so we talked about Star Wars, Star Trek, and Memento.
Yep.
Now it's Back to the Future.
Yep.
The Green Mile.
Yep.
The Blues Brothers.
Right.
Toy Story. Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes.
Pulp Fiction. And The Shining.
All good picks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to think of what my favorite Kubrick movie was, because I was like, I want to include some Kubrick on the 10-day movie challenge, and I was like, well, it's got to be The Shining, because I like 2001 and I like Clockwork Orange, but The Shining is the one that I find myself going back to most often. So.
I like Clockwork Orange, and I feel guilty for how much I like it.
Pretty fucked up movie.
Really
There's
fucked
a
up.
lot of messed up stuff going on. Fucking what's Malcolm McDowell? Like, that was him in his early years, and he was great in it, but man, what a cocksucker of a character, dude. Hated that guy. But anyway, if you feel like listening to Mike's try to sound like Chris Tucker, you're welcome to join us next week. I'll probably not be here because I don't want to hear that shit. But no, I'll be here. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. I appreciate y'all listening.
Bye.
I'll be back.